flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's get started this evening with our approval of prior town board minutes. Any questions, comments? Motion approved?
So moved.
Second?
Second? All in favor?
On September 8th.
On the regular board meeting, yes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And we also have the minutes for the budget meeting. Did you send those out to us?
Not August, not wait a minute.
September 16th?
The 16th, yes.
September 16th. Anybody have any comments or questions on that?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, Mary. Clerk report. Let me give that back to you. I'm happy to give that one to you today.
You're happy to give
I'm
this,
happy
right?
that one. I like that one.
Okay. Town clerk's report for September 2020. Zoning Board of Appeals, special permit application for solar, $100. Planning Board, site plan application 2, residential, $150. Site plan application 1, commercial, $200. Dog licenses for the town, $1.50. Sorry, $1.50. Building permits, $7,748. Certificates of occupancy, $750. Driveway permits, $25. FOIL request, $2. And interest, 3 cents. Solid waste, $1.50. Total for general fund, $8,996.53. Trust and agency, we have 3 escrows. 2 are for planning, 1 for ground-mounted solar, and 1 for a brewery. And the other is for zoning for ground-mounted solar. So it's a total of $1,000 for the escrows. Paid to New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, $8, and paid to Columbia County Solid Waste, $18.50. So the total for September, $10,023.03. And I do.
Can you say that over one more time, Mary?
The total?
Yeah, I like that.
Right back. $10,023.03.
It's better than the $100
And
last
that
time.
interest goes right over the top with that interest.
Alright.
And I'm sorry, the town dog licenses was $20. I was wrong. I had it right to begin with. I don't know why I thought it was $1.50. I was thinking of solid waste, I believe. That's it.
Okay.
The escrow for the brewery, is that the Joyous Acres one, or is this a different
No,
one?
this is a new one next to the Hudson Valley Distillery, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, the guy who works there. He's opening up his own next door. Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
We're just getting to be a.
You know what? I keep
Alcohol
saying,
alley.
you can't buy a gallon of gas or a gallon of milk, but you can drink a lot.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, you know, we used to have a lot of bars in town.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we had a lot of gas stations, so whatever
Everett's,
that
Strauss's
means.
Tavern, Everett's, all of them, yeah.
Now it's all coming back.
Nice, okay. Very good.
Some
I'll
days
accept
you
the
need-
report. Thank you very much, Mary.
Some days you need those
Very
breweries
nice.
and distilleries and wineries. I shouldn't forget wineries.
Okay, mail review, we have nothing.
I really don't have anything.
Okay, all right. Still on. Okay, and we'll move on to correspondence for web committee. Do we have any comments, questions, complaints? Man, that's just going away. That's nice.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris.
No, I want to compliment you. I know it's a lot of work, and that there's a lot of work behind the scenes too. That
Yeah,
you've taken on.
right now it's the meeting minute posting, but with the in-depth of the COVID stuff, there was so much that it was just constant, but I'm happy to say that the amount of work has tapered off.
That's good.
So,
That's a lot.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Chris. All right, move on to committee reports. Bob?
Yeah, the path up to Monument Hill is just about done. What's left is to put topsoil on the sides of the path. Jimmy did roll it again, and it's pretty solid right now. And we'll see. We had a heavy rainstorm, it didn't wash any of it out, back, what, a week or two ago.
Yep.
Well, I don't know, we'll see how it does over the winter and spring.
Okay.
At this point, it's looking pretty good.
There's a lot of material in there, I know that. There's a ton of material.
A lot more than I thought, but yeah, there's a lot of material there, definitely.
But most of that material was all free.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it's better than gravel that you'd buy anyway. It's more stable.
Yeah, it looked like it packed in pretty tight.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And the topsoil over it will look pretty good, and then they'll plant some grass seed. And we've talked about having the poppies on the sides there also. I don't know if that's something the committee can take a look at, see if they want to plant some seeds in there this fall that would come up in the spring.
There are some bulbs that
Yeah,
Chris planted
Chris
up top
planted
there.
some stuff.
Yeah, well,
Well, I'm not talking about poppies, along the path.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, the American Legion, they sell poppies all the time. That comes from World War I. You're familiar with that, I'm sure. So I thought that'd be a nice touch.
Yes, certainly we can discuss it. I guess we need to wait until the topsoil is in.
I know there's some talk about certain ones not growing well in the area or something.
Right,
That was something that
I
came
thought
up, but
Sina
I think
Cotton
there's
said that
different kinds.
either poppies or mountain laurel. I don't recall which one in the scenic Hudson report. It said they didn't think that they would fare well there. I don't remember which one of the two.
But there is different species, I think, that will adapt and will grow here, so that's something maybe we could look into, because that would be nice to put up there for veterans. So, all right. All right.
And Jimmy also did put some blue stripes on the handicap parking spots. He made it 2 wide spots. He didn't put the cross hatching in between the two that I thought he was going to do. But he's got 2 spots there, and he did mark them out with the blue.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Well, he just did that this morning.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. That it?
Yeah.
Move on, Lindsay.
Okay. So, well, one thing I just, the CDC came out with new indoor air recommendations today, so I did print those out, and I was just going to put them on the bulletin board. So,
Anything that we need to do anything about?
we just need to keep the HEPA filters on
Okay.
when people are here.
Build a new town hall.
Build a new town hall. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I think
great.
that's
You
really
might
the only
be-
thing. It's like you just need fresh air and ventilation and air purification. So, anyhow, so then there are 2 things that I gave to you all. One is pertaining to this year. Certainly, the other one is thinking about the budget for the park next year. So for this year, there's an Ann Leonard quote here. This is for deer protection for the trees that were planted this spring, the 9 trees. This quote also includes protection for trees 9 more trees to be planted next year, so we don't have to go through this again.
That's the 700.
Yes, exactly. And as you all have pointed out, the freight is very expensive. They have to deliver this by semi-truck because the fiberglass stakes are 8 feet long. So certainly if we can find similar items locally, that will be terrific. If not, I included another quote here because we could order more because the freight is exactly the same. So if we wanted to order supplies for 30 more trees for the following year after next, for 2022, we could do that, but.
That's the $1,100.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be everything for this year and next year?
It would be for
3
right,
years after.
20, 21,
So that's
22.
in addition to the
This one.
700.
So this would be a total of 90 trees that it would cover, or excuse me, 30 trees that it would cover because each tree needs 3 stakes.
This
But-
covers 9 trees that we have and 9 more.
Yeah, so that's for 20,
And this
21,
one would cover more additional to that.
and that would also include 22.
Right, a 3-year,
Right,
basically.
exactly.
But what I'm trying to get at is is this in addition to this, or does
They're
this quote
separate.
include?
Yeah, so we could either go with just this year and next, which would be the $715, or if we wanted to buy an additional protection for 10 more trees, maybe we plant 20 trees next year. It's probably unlikely given how much work it is, but if we would just buy some extra supplies this year since the freight charge is the same for both.
It's one or the other.
Yeah,
Right.
one or the other,
Okay,
one or the
okay.
other.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Yep. So it would be, we should certainly get protection on the trees before winter time. So it would be terrific if we could maybe approve this, and we could even wait, and if Chris or Don, you all can find it in person
Yeah, well,
vendor locally,
yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah,
great.
we can get some quotes, and if they don't pan out, they don't pan out, but at least we'll have something more,
Yep.
some more knowledge on it.
The stakes are out of stock at Ann Leonard right now, so they wouldn't arrive until November anyway, so we have, it wouldn't make too much difference in terms of timing for this particular quote.
Are you suggesting we approve up to a certain dollar amount? on
Yeah,
this,
I mean,
and
that
then-
would make sense to me,
Okay.
and then if we
We
don't
work-
need to spend it all, then great.
What I probably would recommend is that we approve up to this amount
Mm-hmm.
and look to find it cheaper. And if we do, great, we go with that. If not, we
Yeah.
at least go ahead with this because it is something we're not gonna wait till November to approve, then order, and then we'll be.
Right.
Yeah,
too
maybe
late.
you could have this week to like find a quote.
Yep.
If we
Sure.
don't, then
Approving
I'll
up to
pre-order it.
the
Yeah, I think we should
715,
approve
or
the
approve the
715, you know,
1100?
because I got a feeling we're probably gonna be able to find it somewhere cheaper here.
Where is this place located? Do you know? Are they out of state or?
They are out of state, I believe. I don't.
I was just curious
Yeah.
if somebody felt like taking a drive.
Yeah,
I don't know where
remember
this,
seeing
where
they
this
are.
ships from.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look them up later. Thank you.
So you don't wanna go for, you know, a little more money to get 3 times as much material?
Well, I mean, we could, I mean, they're in Ohio, by the way.
Okay. I just have a feeling that some companies, they put very low quotes and they make up for the difference in price in their shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So we may find higher quotes where maybe we have no shipping, but the value comes out to be about the same.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There are plenty of companies that do that to show they've got the best sale price.
I mean, if
But they
this will
just
do
tack
this
on the
year,
shipping.
you know, this year's and another round of plantings, I think that's probably, I think it's probably enough. I mean, if we're gonna get away from paying the shipping, I mean, it all kind of depends.
I'm wondering if, that's what I'm suggesting, is we may find everything available locally, but
It's just
still
as expensive.
pay the same price.
It might be,
Yeah.
yeah, paying shipping, if you pay a higher price, so it might equal the same amount.
Right, but yeah, I suppose we can, if Dawn and I can
Yeah.
grab some other quotes, we can,
If you're willing to, that would be.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
wanna approve up to the second amount,
Well, that's
to
what I
buy more,
was thinking, is
that's,
if we approve up to $1,200, which is about, you know, 55 to 60% more than this estimate, 3 times as much material, right? I really.
Well, a
think
third,
that-
like
A
30%
third
more.
get a third more.
Basically, the front page is for 18 trees. The second page covers 30 trees.
The 12 additional.
Yeah, 12 additional.
Oh, okay, I thought it was more than that. But- All right, well, either way, we can approve either amount and then leave it up to Chris and Lindsay if, you know, if they find local quotes and it's better to go with the lower amount, they just don't spend it all and we'll have to approve it again another time.
is that a recommendation, is that a motion?
Yeah.
All right, so what are you making a motion on, approve how much?
Up to $1,200.
Up to $1,200. Payable out of the parks line, which.
Yeah, I'd leave it, you know, Chris, you're gonna look into
So do you
some
want
others
10.41?
and between the two of you.
yeah.
Decide, if you decide that, you know, you don't think that's a good idea to do that, and you just wanna go with the lower amount, that's covered under that motion.
I think if we can buy something local, and even if it's $700 like the first page.
We don't need to buy all that extra.
Right, we just buy what we need for this year, and then we can
Sure,
buy
yeah.
again next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm in
the
agreement with
The
that.
only reason to do more is just because of the freight charges.
Right, right, and
Right.
if it comes to that, maybe
Well,
that's the
I'll
best
make a
choice to make.
Okay.
Who's second? Anybody second that?
I'll second.
Chris is second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Uh,
Carried. Okay, trees are protected.
Now, on the other,
next
Touch
three
it, touch it.
Is it actually 54 and what, 6, so 60 pieces? Is that how, just this, I just want to write it down.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Well, I guess we
That's the
actually approved
status.
the second estimate,
Oh,
so,
that's right.
We approved up to 1,200, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
so,
one.
so it's this, all these
That's right.
numbers, that's the number, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And/or could be found at a better price, so yes.
Yeah, that's, yes.
All right.
now, on the furniture stuff,
So,
that's quite a bit more
so
money. Are we
we,
gonna look into that also, Chris?
I don't know that I'll necessarily find it in the same place.
so I looked, the other thing, and John and I worked on this together, with the park committee, is thinking about next year. Park furniture seems like a logical next step. The committee, looked through various designs and settled on their recommendation being, this table that's, steel, very easy to clean, very heavy duty, fairly comfortable. This bench with a back on it, in a cedar color that would be mounted on a concrete pad. And then also this backless bench that, is called a trailside bench that could, be put, along the trails throughout the park and perhaps the sports fields wherever, would be useful. And so I went through and, I don't know, it's in everyone's packet.
Are these all the recycled plastic?
So,
They
yes,
are, except for the picnic
Mhm.
table.
Yeah, some of them look like real wood, that's why I was asking. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure.
yeah, it's a composite. So
Well, this one is a metal. isn't it?
the,
Yes.
the,
It's a
the-
rubber
right,
coated or
yeah.
something, resin coated or something.
Yep.
So it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
steel, no.
So the last page of the packet that I gave you all has 3 quotes, from 3 different vendors for the same furniture, more or less. The last, well, there's one that's a little bit different from Belson, its style is slightly different. The Park Warehouse was the least expensive of the 3. I don't imagine this is something you can buy locally.
Probably not.
Yeah. So anyways, there are 3 quotes. If we can't install it this year, we shouldn't buy it this year. We hadn't budgeted for it this year, so there's no expectation that we,
And I don't know
Purchase
that we
this
have
here.
a place to store it either.
yeah.
Now,
Um,
this is plastic, recycled plastic park benches, but you're saying that this was a metal with,
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's the E-Series heavy-duty rectangular picnic table. That's the last one on here, that's the $723.
oh, so actually getting four picnic tables.
So
No,
the,
2.
yeah, so
two
2
and
picnic
2.
tables here, 8.
No, that's a
No,
quote.
2 of them with the backs on, and then 8 of them with no backs.
Yeah, 2 of the picnic tables, 2 of the benches with backs,
You
and
get
8
2
of
of these
the
with the backs on,
backless
and
benches.
then the rest of them are 8 of
Okay,
these.
so that's the recycled plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, sorry, I should have put these in the same order for all the
That's
quotes. So I think the idea is if we can maybe approve this plan, I mean, I don't know if there's any argument to be made to buy them this year, but I think we can say, yes, this number is appropriate, then the park committee, they're actually meeting next week at the park. Maybe they could think about where they should go and sort of make a plan, and then if
Yeah.
we're installing these, we'll
I
have to
think
put
it,
concrete pads in, so that'll take some pre-work before we can
Right,
actually
right,
install them
right.
anyways.
Well, and then we can just kind of move on to the next item too, that, you know.
well, I
this-
think it'd be
Yeah,
nice,
this is
if
done.
we had talked at the last meeting about getting the two picnic tables, one up on the top of the hill and one down
Mhm.
between the trees at the bottom of the hill on
Mhm.
the west side. I think it'd be good to do that this year.
Well, we could order it this, I mean, it's one of those things where we should order everything together just
Yeah,
for
well,
freight
that's-
charges.
that's-
So
yeah.
Discount.
if we wanna do it this year, that's fine, but we should just make sure we have a place to store it if we can
Right.
install it.
And is the
before
highway-
wintertime.
I don't know what their schedule is now. Is the highway crew gonna have time to do either the concrete pad or install the anchor or whatever?
Well, we could
Temperature, too.
probably, at least, again, if you order all together, you can get the tables over there, we can probably store the stuff in the other building in the back where they can, if it's laid out, they can pick out when they have time, do a few at a time. And maybe they can get some in this year, maybe not
Sure.
all, and then store the rest in the building for the year.
Okay.
But at least then we could at least get some tables up and maybe get a few benches up.
Great, well, that would be
Did-
terrific.
Do you think we have room, or should we check with Jimmy as far as storing?
The biggest thing is gonna be those picnic tables, which we can put right out.
Mm.
So the other
Right,
ones are
right.
fairly small, I'm sure.
Are they gonna be anchored in some manner?
Um,
Or do you feel like they're
I
heavy
would
enough?
think those probably not, because they're heavy steel tables, big picnic tables. The other ones, yes, they have to be bolted to concrete, all the other ones.
yeah, they don't.
But
they
this
don't
one,
stand
I
up.
would say probably not, two of these.
Mhm.
But
And if they're not heavy enough, I suppose we could fill the frame with concrete.
Yeah, I get a feeling they're not gonna be as light as the pickup.
Well, there are those, the
They're
earth
kinda awkward
anchors
to take.
that
Now,
Amy
is
spoke
the
about.
idea to put the picnic tables on a concrete slab, or just leave them
We
on?
could,
I'm
I
thinking
think
of the mowing
That
around,
would be a
and
huge slab. I think we
Yeah.
should leave them loose, they can move them all, would be my suggestion.
my
because
preference would be
otherwise-
not to have concrete, but,
Yeah.
um,
On something that size, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
but as long as when we're mowing, we can still move them,
Well, given that price, if we, I mean, my earlier comment, Lindsay, I thought, I was looking at this was would be a lot more expensive. I was gonna move to table it till we looked into other alternatives, but with that price, I think we should go ahead and do that, if in fact we can store some of it in the, I know Jimmy doesn't wanna be giving keys out to everybody and having them store in and out,
Right.
but to just store something until they're ready to do something with it, that should work.
Yeah, I mean, those 8 benches don't take a ton of room, I'm sure we'd no problem fit them in there somewhere.
okay,
So,
well, great.
I mean,
That's great.
we're gonna be using the funds that we have, the donation funds anyway, if it's this year, next year, it really doesn't make a difference, we just have to make a budget transfer to move some over,
Mhm.
which we're, like I said, we can do next month with everything. So if we wanna approve it, and again, you wait till next year, the price is probably as well, it's usually 3% at least, we
Very
increase that every
possible.
year.
Yeah.
I don't know, it
But,
could
you
go
know,
down.
Could, well, it could, you never know.
I mean, based on the COVID thing and the access of materials nowadays, everything is a little scarce.
Hmm.
Yeah, but when stuff gets scarce, then the price goes up too.
That's what I'm saying, the prices are up right now, at least for building supplies and,
To the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, these, from when I looked back for the grant, I don't think the prices have changed much
Was that
at all.
different than
Yeah.
earlier? Yeah.
Okay.
The
I'll
only
entertain
thing
a
this
motion
doesn't-
to
Well,
approve
I'd
this.
move to, to go ahead.
The only thing this doesn't include is any concrete or any installation.
Right, which we would have to,
Right, right.
figure in when we get the stuff, from the
Right.
building materials, put to the park, yeah.
Now, we've actually got 3 different quotes here though, right?
Yeah,
So-
the
Yeah.
top is the
Mhm.
cheapest, obviously. See, middle one's missing free.
Yes, I.
Oh,
I-
that- okay,
I
that's-
did get
all right.
that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Both of them are over $1,000, so free's probably gonna be very much in ballpark of $1,000.
Yeah, all right, so why don't we go with the first,
The only consideration, I'm just noticing this, is that there is an 8-foot, version of the recycled plastic, the benches and, the picnic table. I think, I don't know what size that picnic table is.
the bench
But
does
if
show
we want
8-foot
a longer
mounting
bench,
type.
that's obviously a possibility. I don't know, if that necessary, 8-foot bench.
Your last page does show 8-foot. Were you thinking that you
Does
were
it?
showing, yeah, the picnic table, the
Oh, good, okay,
back
good.
bench, and the
Maybe I
flat
just
bench.
copied it. Yeah,
They all
okay,
show
great.
8-foot.
Okay, terrific. It doesn't match up in the thing, because I think I just copied the item number, which must have been the lowest.
Oh, I see.
Version
I see
of
what
it.
you're saying.
Yeah, okay, terrific. Well, then these are 8-foot, so problem solved.
As long as they,
I thought that's what I selected. I was.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they match each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is
Because
the
on
part.
no,
on the middle one that doesn't show freight, that one does say 8-foot picnic table. So I'm not sure what
Oh,
you
right.
did.
Which one?
National.
Maybe
that's
that's
okay.
why they're cheaper, because you got 6 foot instead of 8 foot?
Which one?
Park Warehouse, they're 6 foot.
Park Warehouse, you're indicating 6 foot.
Yeah, this is just wrong on this worksheet.
Okay.
These are the actual prices here. which
Okay,
match
so they
here.
are
I
8
just,
foot.
yeah, I just
Okay.
titled them improperly because I was just copying the item number, which included 6 foot of this.
Now, Dawn, have we applied for a grant to cover this furniture? Or are we going to, or?
I mean, if we spend the money first, then we're not gonna get a grant for it. They're not gonna reimburse us. It would be apply for the grant, wait and see if we get the money, and then buy it. If we go ahead and spend it ahead of time, we won't get a grant for it.
I will say that thanks to generous donors
Yes,
in our
yes.
community, unnamed, who have been matched, by the way. So there's $10,000 coming in from the community this year, and I know that park furniture was something that a lot of people were interested in, so
Right?
Yep.
the community's kind of stepping up to pay for it.
So maybe,
Have we
maybe the only
seen-
consideration would be, maybe, do we wanna get all of them at the same time, or try to get a grant to cover some? Well, or we could always add more than this, I mean, that's,
Right. Right
I mean, you're
off the,
talking 10 benches and 2 picnic tables.
right. I
Which
know
is,
we could get some money, I don't know, I would say at a minimum $250 from Bank of Greene County towards this. I mean, I think we're pretty certain of getting that.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Do we
else.
have time? I mean, I know the park committee was going to do like an evaluation. Do you think that evaluation may change the quantities
Oh,
if they're walking? I'm
well,
not sure if this is.
they're just doing an in-person meeting. All of you are invited next week at 4 o'clock.
Yes,
I don't
Sunday
know-
at 4.
I don't know if we're meeting, I guess just over at the parking
Mhm.
lot. I was just suggesting that if we approve this, they could start to plot out where the benches would go, but I don't anticipate
That's what I was
the
curious
plan would
is,
change.
if they go out there and they know that there's an approval, and do you think there's an opportunity where they'll say, well, we could probably use a couple more than what we originally thought, or was this
Possibly.
already?
Yeah,
Possibly.
I
Probably
mean,
always use more.
Yep.
right.
So I think we could probably start with this, and if we get grants for more, we could always add those.
Mhm.
Probably.
The idea was
It's
we'll
a
stay under
large area.
$10,000, you know, that's what is being, donated this year, so that was kind of.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
idea
it
for
wouldn't,
this
it wouldn't
level
hurt
of
to have another
support.
picnic table somewhere out in the back too. The reason I recommended the 2 spots I did is because I've seen people picnicking on the ground in that area. There was one day, there was some adults and a bunch of kids were out there, and they were just all sitting around.
Mhm, yeah.
And even if they still sit on the ground, because there's so many of them, they'd have a place to put their food and whatever on the table, so that would work too.
All right. So, how's everybody feel about this? You want to make a motion?
As long as it's not an issue to store them, I think we can do them now.
Yeah, I see no problem with throwing back there.
Yeah, if you can't put them in this garage, I got an empty bed in my garage.
All of
It'll-
the park furniture.
So which one are you going for, the park?
And that garage is well built, because it was built by the guy next to me.
That's right. Stand, still
Oh,
stand.
this is it.
Yeah.
That's it, Park Warehouse,
Mhm.
okay.
Well, I heard about a couple of trees in this.
Hey. So did we get a motion on them to go with
Yes,
that?
so moved.
So we're going with the Park Warehouse quote of $8,704
And I
for a
will-
total of 12 benches. Well, benches and tables. And that's being paid out of the price.
Mhm.
So they want that.
8704, about that, that's all.
Now, we mentioned the grants, or the donation and matching.
I don't know if I
Right, did we get that in yet?
All in favor? Hold on.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried, done, thank you.
Did we get all of the matching grant in yet? Mary?
We have not received all the money yet, no, but it is, as of our meeting on this past Sunday, I guess it
Yes.
was?
Yep.
A week ago yesterday, that, we have, committed $5,000. So I sent an email to Ray, I can't remember when, the end of last week, to confirm that checks should be made out to Town of Claremont and with Parks in the memo. And I'll get back to everyone and let them know that they should send the checks in.
Okay, well, I know we have.
Deadline, we got a deadline. we gotta
Yes,
meet.
yes.
Well,
November.
actually, the 5,000 has already been deposited with Mary, and 2,000 of it was previously deposited with Mary.
The 5,000 is getting deposited shortly. And your 2,000 has already been deposited.
Right.
So we have
We need
$3,000
$3,000 more,
$3,000,
so.
Yes, by November 1st,
Or
yes.
more.
Or more,
Or
or
more.
more,
Well,
absolutely.
well, don't tell them about the 2,000, let it, if, you know, they wanna
Right, right.
match that, again.
So, yeah, as long as we get the checks in here in the next, couple, 3 weeks here. All right,
Right,
Okay.
perfect.
that's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yep.
All right. Chris?
Very little. Mary and I are talking about her computer, which she still does not have from the county.
She doesn't need it at this point.
Yeah,
I'm getting very nervous about
re-
this.
re- ready for an upgrade, and we didn't even get it yet. But that's the only update I have, so we'll have to follow up with the county and find out what's going on.
What is that for?
Mary's new computer, her
Oh,
desktop.
Okay,
I haven't heard back from them since I sent the paperwork.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
we
working
approved
with the
that
county
last.
For you, isn't that nice?
What's
It's
that?
working with the county.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Tell me, 35 years.
Very good. Yeah, Mary knows more better than anybody.
Yep.
Glad I'm not doing payroll nowadays.
Jeez. All right, Dawn?
I don't have anything right now, no.
Okay. Did Bill Better reach out to you?
No.
Okay, because he's going to be reaching out to you about the chapel on Route 9G.
Okay,
He's really excited about I guess in 2025 or 6. I think he wants to try to coordinate a big event down here. And I told him to reach out to you. He said
Okay.
he was going to reach out to you as well. So, but yeah, because of the
is it like some
Tricentennial,
anniversary
Tricentennial, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up.
of the Clarkson Chapel? Okay.
Yeah, and he wants to do something there. He wants to make that a part of a big event. So I told him to reach out to you and let's get
All
it
right.
coordinated, start working on
Do we have control over that one too?
it. The county actually owns it. The county owns it.
But Claremont doesn't.
Claremont does not own it, but they're very willing to work with us on that, but they want to talk to us and coordinate with us on it, because it's obviously in our town. So, they've offered several times to try to push that down to us, because they maintain it, they mow it, they said, they take care of it. And I thought it was a very good scenario we have right now. They're paying the bill, and we're
Right,
we're taking the advantage of having it, so.
The last time I know that it was open was in the last couple of years, Hudson River Heritage did the year, I think it was 2 years ago, and they used this as their base kind of to send everyone off for the tours, is they had it open. But I think, as far as I know, that's the last time it's been opened and the first time it's been opened in several years.
Okay.
Was it last year? Okay.
Well, he'll be reaching out to you anyway. He's a
Okay.
county historian, which, so he'll be
Right.
reaching out to you to coordinate and
Okay,
discuss
good.
what he has an idea of what he wants to do, so, all right, good. Okay, move on to old business, not a lot, just want to go over the park donations. We did just receive the $5,000 donation. Mrs. Howard, thank you very much, and her husband.
Yeah.
Certainly appreciate the ongoing support that she's continued to help us with the donations. And that is part of the $5,000 matching grant, which we have the funds we just discussed about coming in. Again, I want to thank Bob Desmond for a $2,000 donation to start. So that's $2,000, $5,000, so thank you very much. Again, donations, as anybody paying attention sees, we're putting them to work, we're putting them into the park, and it certainly helps keep the tax burden off the taxpayers. And we can, try to fund everything we can through donations is the goal, and that's what we've been doing so far, and we'll try to continue doing, because that makes it much easier for everybody. So, thank you to everyone for the donations. The parking lot rails are done and completed. As you saw, the invoice was in there for the ball field. That fence has been put up and done. They did also put the slip
Yes.
rails up over
Yep.
here on the park entrance and the back culvert, which we discussed that we're looking for. So that has been completed, and moving forward, that's one more safety issue off the checklist. So I think that's good. And they did Roma Fence. I'd like to just say, I want to thank them for being very easy to work with and helping us out with the other fencing we put up. I think they did a very good job, so very satisfied with them. Give them a little plug.
I'm sorry, the park on Route 6, Claremont Park, I went by and looked at it the other day. It's very nice with the new guardrails and
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it gives us a nice distinction of where the parking lot is. It keeps the car from accidentally driving over into the swings and keeping them off the grass as much as possible. Obviously, you can still get around, but it keeps it, you know, it makes it a lot safer. And that
Yes,
was the goal.
very nice, nice job.
Yeah, they did a very nice job.
Park related, did we get the additional, pieces in to complete the tiles over at the swing set, or are we still
We
waiting?
have not, we have
Okay.
not got those yet, no. So that's something we need to follow up on because I have not got back in touch with them to find out what happened with those additional block pieces that we needed, so that is something we have to follow up on.
Do you need the committee to help with that, or?
I've already been in contact with the email and have everything,
Okay.
so I mean, I think it's just easy for me to send another message and find out what's going on with it. I mean, if I don't get anywhere, then maybe I'll ask you guys to
Sure.
jump on and swamp them with some emails or something.
Sounds fun.
New business, review the 2020 tentative budget, that's just the 2021 tentative budget. I have 20 on there. We had our budget meeting a couple weeks ago, went through the numbers, went through the budget. Very, very similar to last year. Very few increases in the budget, several decreases. Only salaries that were increased were the highway superintendent, the 1.5%, which we've been doing on an annual basis, and the 2 employees of the highway department were both 1.5% increases. The building inspector, code enforcement officer, is the only other person that received a raise this year, and that is due to just being swamped with work and having to add additional hours to cover and to catch up and to handle that department. As we all know, he doesn't have an assistant secretary or anything, and there's just been a tremendous amount, as you can tell from the building inspection fees coming in, that he's just has no chance to get caught up and even and do any of the paperwork and backlog. So he's going to be adding additional hours that will not be posted, but will be for office work and to catch up and do all the filings and do all the other stuff that needs to be done. So his salary was increased by $3,000 from $11,000 to $14,000 annually, and it's paid monthly. So other than that, we decreased several accounts, trying to be very cautious on the budget numbers going forward. We really are in a very undecided area at this point. It's very uncomfortable not knowing what's going on with the state, the reimbursements. Sales tax has been less as predicted, but nowhere near as bad as they originally said. So we were very conservative with this budget. The only change to the tentative budget that the committee was not unaware of that I made at the last week was, we all know, we're certain that the highway superintendent is not going to be running for re-election next year. So what I did is I added under the superintendent highways line, I added under personnel, I added read this, 5010.1, that's an additional personnel line. I added a $5,000 additional fee in there. Only because thinking forward, the elections in November, we get a new superintendent, I really think we need to have some kind of money to pay the person that's newly elected to maybe work with Jimmy for the next month, in the month of December, to try to get him up to speed, show him the routes, show him what needs to be done. So we'll end up having to pay a little extra money for that year, but I think it's going to be very important to have, give somebody a head start on what they need to do. So that's the only addition to the budget since we agreed upon. And what I did is I just added an extra $5,000 coming out of fund balance to offset that $5,000. So the main goal of this is just to make sure everybody realizes that, again, this is going to be a 0% increase in taxes for the town of Claremont. 11 years in a row, we have not increased taxes at all. So this is, again, a 0% increase to the taxpayers. Total budget will be $683,777. That's highway and general.
And just a comment, some people might get confused because the tax rate has changed from time to time, but the total amount that's raised by taxes is what really has not changed at all.
Right.
Right, the tax rate's actually down to like 42
The
cents.
tax rate actually dropped from 47.50 to 42.49 because of the taxable value of the town went up. So the tax rate is a little less, but obviously we're still collecting the same amount of taxes, which is $104,580. I should know that by heart because it's been like that for how many years.
And another thing on paying 2 highway superintendents for a couple of months, that, you're talking about paying the new one while Jimmy's still in there. But
Correct.
we may end up also in the following year, Jimmy coming back a few days here and there, I don't know if you want to.
Well, that we can talk about next year's budget because that would be the
Mhm.
22 budget.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
you're right.
and that we may have to look at that as well, depending on how things go and what we're facing, so. But this will give us a little bit of a jump start on this, please takes a position. And again, if we don't need it, we don't use it, then we just don't spend it. Go back to fund balance. Other than that, if anybody else has any questions on that, we are gonna set a public hearing, for next month. But I would like to, make a motion to adopt this as our preliminary budget moving forward, and then we'll set the hearing for next month to review the budget.
I'll make
Oh, go ahead, I'll
Second.
second.
One motion, Bob second, all in favor?
a,
Opposed? Carried. And I would like to just set the public hearing for the 2021 budget for November 2nd, which is our board meeting, at 6:45 p.m. And obviously, advertise.
Yes.
Okay.
You need a motion on that?
I don't think so. Just a second. Okay, the other thing I had was the donations we did. I just, I don't really have any other new business to go over at this point. Supervisor's report. No, well, thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Yes, I was gonna do that.
Okay, you got that, okay.
Yeah, just a couple things in the supervisor's report. I did want to thank Barbara Lawyer,
Oh, yeah.
our cleaning professional, for the beautiful decorations. This is something we don't have. The town of Claremont does not own. I believe she probably brought them in from her house to decorate for us, because we'll bring them back at some point. But we certainly appreciate her friendly touch, and I think she's doing a great job, of not only cleaning, but give us nice little bright signs and decorating for us. So very happy and very surprised when they come in this evening. So just want to put, certainly say thank you to her and Adam for taking care of that. And Becky.
And Becky,
I think
yes.
that's her daughter.
Yes.
Our daughter. The election, obviously the election's coming up. I thought maybe Dawn might have touched on that a little bit. The election's coming up November, just want to make, November 3rd. Polls open at when?
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
till 9 p.m.
God bless every one of
If
you.
you are in
Yep.
line at 9 p.m., you can vote.
Really?
Yes.
Say that again?
If you are in line at
Okay.
9 p.m.,
Yep.
you will be allowed to vote.
So you gotta stay even longer.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah,
I
great.
did read that somewhere, I don't know
No.
where, but.
All right.
Just dropped it.
Yep.
All right, well, yeah, November 3rd, opens at 6 a.m., yeah,
So
until
please
9
have a
p.m.
short meeting Monday, the 2nd,
We will.
because I have to set this place up.
We will, we'll help you. Yes, we will.
All the distancing.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of protocols to follow. So, yeah, I just wanted to just to mention, obviously, the election's coming up, hopefully people come out and vote, and if not, they should all have had the opportunity to mail in ballots if they needed or they elected to. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe your crowd will be a little less this year, I would assume. But who knows? You never
There
know.
was a pretty extensive card that came out in the mail to show all the different ways you could vote. I don't know if you got it, because Joy didn't get it in Germantown yet, I got it in Claremont.
I did. I think I just threw it out because I didn't know I was coming in to vote. But yeah, I think it's something.
Yeah, okay.
So, all right. I don't really have a whole lot to discuss in the county. We're still doing remote meetings, which I just despise, but it's working.
what about the budget at the county?
The budget at the county, I've not had any new updates. We haven't, we'll actually meet next week. Still talking about the 2% increases are given. I know they're looking in to see if they could increase more, go over the actual amount allowed, the 2%, we're trying to get permission to override it without getting penalized for the people in the county, but I haven't heard yet that it's happened, they've received that or not. I mean, there's a lot of revenues that we're missing in the county, and I can see why they're panicking, because it's tens of millions of dollars the state just has not reimbursed. And, you know, it's owed to us, and we're waiting for some of them since March, which is crazy. So, I don't have the answer on it yet, but it's definitely a 2% increase at the minimum. This year may be the first year in several years I may not vote against it, because I've constantly voted against the 2% increase because I didn't think it was needed. This year we will need the 2%, probably all of that, and you know, I won't vote for going over that cap, but I will probably vote with increasing the 2% this year. But again, I haven't seen the final numbers, so I can't say for sure.
Any discussion of layoffs or early retirements?
They're definitely not considering layoffs. That would be the very last scenario. I don't see that coming. Early retirement, I haven't heard the options if they're putting that out yet. So I don't know. We haven't had the latest briefing on that, so we'll know next week or our full board meeting.
Have we gotten another sales tax check recently?
We have not. We won't get that till the end of this month.
Okay.
So
You know how much it's gonna be though?
I haven't heard it yet. No, it's still a little early. But actually next week I'll probably have an update on that as well. So, again, if it comes in anywhere from 5 to 10% less, that's
gonna be
okay.
the third quarter?
That'd be the third quarter.
So we've gotten 2 checks so far,
Correct.
and they've both been pretty close to or more than what we budgeted?
The first one was actually more than what we budgeted. The second one was 8% less. So, but we're right on where we're supposed to be. Actually, we're right on what we budgeted, which was over. So, the next one will determine if it's 8 or 10% less. It will be all right. We'll certainly be okay because we budgeted a little higher. But as long as it doesn't drop dramatically, which I don't think it's gonna. I really don't. I don't see it. And mortgage tax is doing phenomenal. That's higher than usual, so
Okay,
we'll
we
make up a
got
little
that.
bit on that.
Okay.
We haven't got the number yet, but it's up. So
Okay.
as far as revenues go, we're in pretty good shape on that end.
And Jimmy,
Luckily, we don't rely on the state for revenues. If we did, we'd be hurt.
Jimmy was telling me today, there's several things, I don't have a list of them, but that he hasn't spent money on that he had in the budget, so he expects his budget's gonna be, his
Yeah.
spending is gonna be considerably under his budget.
And I asked him to, we asked him to, obviously with the roads to cut back on what he didn't have to spend. So he did reduce what he was spending, and he does have money left over in some of his other line items that he's gonna go ahead and try not to spend if he doesn't have to. So I suspect we'll see probably 30 grand or better in savings out of his account, which should be great this year. So moving forward, I mean, we can't do that every year, but if, we can buy this year with that, that's great. That helps out a lot. So.
He
All
did say
right.
also say the 6-wheelers getting on in years, and we'll be wanting to.
He told us 23, I think the number was, 2023, originally. He's gonna have
Well,
to wait.
that's not that far away.
Well, you got 2 more years.
Yeah.
2 more years, it makes a big difference. We're putting 50 grand a year away, that's 100 grand. So we'll have the money when he wants it. So, well, when whoever wants it, won't be him. When we need it, let's put it that way. So, all right, I guess that's it. Move on, motion to pay abstracts. Well, I got 2 tonight. There's not a lot of money being spent. I like them.
Move to pay general abstract number 10, vouchers number 229 through 250 in the amount of $10,910.98.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to pay highway abstract number 10, vouchers number 78 through 83 in the amount of $4,686.76.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, so we got for tonight. So let's move on to public comment. Public communications. Yes, sir.
I have 2.5 things to say.
2.5.
Is there an election night dinner scheduled, or has that been handled?
No, I haven't heard a word from Tammy about it, so I'm guessing no.
I thought Tammy was kind of like backing out of the whole,
Yeah, I don't know, I would have been dealing with her before we postponed the Easter egg hunt, so I expected, that if the committee was going to move forward, she would reach out to people. I haven't heard anything.
mm,
It would have to be
Take
takeout
out.
only at that point, you know, because we just don't
yeah,
have the
no,
whole-
definitely, that was the first item. The second item is, in relation to the action I'm requesting, I have Marie Welch is preparing the documents. So she says that we'll have them, by the next meeting in November, but you're having your, of course, we want to end early because of the, but hopefully we'll be able to present them on, no, that's a second.
That's fine,
So,
second.
then, I'll go to the planning board, is that not this Wednesday, but next
Next.
Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Because their action can't happen until yours happens. So I'm gonna ask the attorney or somebody to like, still have no like sequence of events that that this action would take, so. My understanding would be that you have to act before the planning board could act.
Okay. I did get the letter from the highway superintendent, so that's all set. So I don't think, at this point, we have to approve it for the planning board.
You have to
You
approve.
actually have to do the land transfer. And then you do have the deeds changed and accept those changes. And then the planning board can approve the lot line change. So that he has a stamped plan to take to the county for his properties.
That's why I thought this should go through the planning board. I'm all backed up because I, you know.
We can't approve
So-
a change without both owners' approval,
Consent, right?
but we need new deeds before we can take that action.
So now who takes care of that? The town
So-
attorney?
So,
Preparation of the deed is, that's what I hope someone would come up with the steps. I mean,
Yeah.
my attorney does it, your attorney does it, whatever.
Right.
yeah, that's between,
Well, that should go with the survey, right? Usually when you get a survey, you get a deed description.
Yeah, but then the deed description has to be attached to the
Yeah.
deed.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now, Chris, did you get a chance to find out anything about the chain going back to, you know, when that was actually,
No. Well,
when the
after-
county
after-
took it and when the town,
After,
Got it?
Marie is looking into that question. The
Okay.
title reports that I have, go back to, she's gonna verify the descriptions in the oldest title report that I have. But the diagram that was from 1949 describes it as a taking.
by the county.
Right, well,
But somewhere there's gotta be some type of giving to the town if the town is gonna give it
I
to
have
you.
no, I have no.
I don't know what that is.
That's, nobody seems to have anything in that regard.
Listen, I want to get this cleared up. Is it outlined to say, have your surveyor, your attorney prepare this and we just have our attorney review it?
That's fine, that's what I'm telling you, that's what I started with,
That's what
Marie is already preparing the
So
document.
she's gonna do that, so you're just gonna get us to prepare what you're proposing, we have ours to approve it, and say it's okay?
Yep.
Okay, and you'll have that to us in November?
And then, after that, then the planning board can,
So you'll have to wait. the following
basically,
week
all the
they can do
planning
it.
board is doing is approving a lot line adjustment of properties that I own adjacent to each other. One of them happens to be the one that the town deeded to me.
Just gave it, okay, all right, so hopefully we
But
have
there still has to be some kind of trail that shows that the town actually has ownership of it.
That presumably comes up, if a document exists. That was the first question I asked
Yeah.
when I went to to Jimmy Potts. I said, is there anything that says this is a town road? And he says, no.
Just from my experience elsewhere, I can tell you that there was probably an action resolution by the county legislature releasing these roads, give the list to the towns. When that happened, I don't know, but
If it was even written
that's
down.
been my experience.
If it's been released, you know, who knows? I mean, they come up occasionally, one at a time, when there's an instance
Right.
like this in the county.
So-
It's usually a county road that we deal with, not a town.
So there may not be a deed transfer, but there was probably a resolution or something.
But if there isn't anything like that, then probably the county should do something, right? I don't wanna see 100 years from now, after Chris and all of us are gone, that whoever inherits or buys the property has a problem selling it.
Neither do I. That's why I'm going through this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
So, I mean, I could, am I making an inquiry to the county attorney or somebody? Who do I make that inquiry to? After Marie does her check, because she's checking.
Right. I mean, I think our attorney can look into it as well, and he'll have to review it anyway. So I think as long as you prepare what you're looking to do, give us what you want to do, you know, the descriptions of survey and everything. I'll give it to our attorney, let him look at it, and then if he's got questions and he needs to clear it up, then he can go through the channels and find it. I'll let him deal with that, because I just don't know, I just don't listen.
Yeah.
So, I'll let him clear it up, and if he has to contact the county attorney, he used to work in the county attorney's office, it'll be very simple for him to coordinate and figure it out.
Well, it wasn't Andy who was it was Mark, was it?
Matt usually.
it wasn't Matt either.
No?
No, it was Brian.
Oh, okay.
Matt was teaching a class.
We're done with Matt too now?
No, he'll be back,
No,
I
he's teaching.
think.
He's teaching this semester.
I don't know if he'll be back this month or next month.
Well, we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
So if you get us what you have, what you wanna do, what you propose, we'll have to review it, we'll get to the bottom of it, done. I mean, this is going on forever.
yeah, not really that one.
Well, it seems much more complicated than it needs to be.
We love
So-
your company.
Pardon me?
We love your company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're not having dinner after the election, what is it?
Hopefully next
No
year.
dinner, no.
So that was two things. You got another half a thing?
So the half was going to the planning board, because that's something different, doesn't
Yeah,
affect us so much.
essentially.
Okay. All right. All right. Any other additional comments? All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I always second this, or I make the motion. I'm starting to feel like
All right, I'll second it.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?